Hey guys, Scott here. For this video, I'm going to take you through my Sega Saturn collection. The Sega Saturn is a console I never played as a kid. In fact, I didn't play any of the Sega consoles. I was pretty much a Nintendo guy growing up, but Sega Saturn's always been one of those systems that I've always wanted to play. I've never seen one since I bought it on eBay a couple of years ago, so I've been collecting ever since. The problem with Sega Saturn is in my area, I just can't find any games. I think, honestly, I highly doubt there's a single Saturn game lying around anywhere in my town. I don't think anyone in my town actually owns a Sega Saturn or any games, so every game in my collection is bought from eBay at pretty much market value. I didn't get any great deals on any of these games, and there's still a lot I need to get. There's a lot of great games on here that I just haven't had the time or money to get yet. I'll get them eventually, but right now I've got, it's a small collection right now, and a few of the games were in the lot that came with my Sega Saturn. Anyways, we'll start off the collection with Burning Rangers. This is one of the rarest games on the system. It's also one of the most expensive. I think it's around $100 right now. I got it for $80 off eBay, but this is basically kind of like an arcade shooter type game. It's really quite a unique game where you're putting out fires. It's actually by Sonic Team, the creators of the Nights into Dreams and the Sonic games. It's such a strange game, but it's really fun. It's short. There's only 4 levels in this game. They're decently long, but I don't know, it's a very short game. It gets quite hard towards the end, and there's a mode where levels will be randomly generated and you can go through them trying to get high scores, but overall this is a pretty fun game. Unfortunately, I don't think it's worth the money it goes for. I really don't. I would say get it if you could find it for around $50, but at the going rate of near $100, I just don't think this game's worth it. Next we have Dragonforce. Again, another one of the rarer and more expensive games on the system. This one, I tried it for a good hour. I don't know what the hell I'm doing in this game. This is a really complex game. There's all these different menus. There's all these different things you can do right off the bat. The game doesn't really tell you what you're supposed to be doing. The manual doesn't give a good idea. I think I need some kind of strategy guide for this game, which it kind of sucks because I've heard this is an amazing game, and I would really like to get into this. I'm not huge on strategy RPGs, so maybe I just suck at it, and I'm stupid and I can't figure out exactly what to do, but one of these days I'm going to try this again and try to get into it. We got Fighting Vipers. This game came with the system. It's pretty much just a 3D fighting game. For the Sega Saturn, the fighting games I found, the graphics are quite a bit dated. Even the gameplay is quite a bit dated. But of all the fighting games I've played on the Saturn, this is definitely the best one, I think. But, it's one of those games that's fun for a few rounds with your friends. And other than that, I don't know, it's nothing too special. Now one of my favorite games for the Saturn, The House of the Dead. As far as I know, this is the only port of the original House of the Dead game for home console. I've got the light guns to go with this game, and this game is just fun as hell, especially if you get another player with you. It's just there's all these different alternate paths you can take. It's so fun just shooting the zombies. The only thing about this game, this is a damn hard game. Even on easy mode with the highest amount of lives you can set, I can't beat this game. Me and my friend can get to the final boss, but we just die out of him every single time. Then we have Mega Man 8. This game's also for the PS1, though this is actually, if you're a Mega Man fan, you know that this is the definitive version of the game. There's little extras. There's a sound test mode. You can listen to all the music in the game. But the biggest thing with this one compared to the PS1 version is that you can actually fight Woodman and Cutman in this, which is really cool. Then we have a classic game, Panzer Dragoon. What can I say about this? It's a classic rail shooter. Most people that own a Saturn probably have this game. And you know what? It's really fun. It's a really fun rail shooter. It's hard as hell though. I can get about halfway through it and then I just lose it. But definitely a great game. Then of course we have Panzer Dragoon 2's Y. You know, this is a really great game. Like, I like Panzer Dragoon, the original. I think the graphics are a bit outdated. The controls are kind of iffy. You know, the level designs aren't the most inspired level designs ever, but this game basically just improves upon the original in every way. Like, I think this is probably one of the best looking Saturn games. Like, it's a great looking game. You know, the levels are much, like, the game just runs a lot better. Like, it's a much more fluid experience. Just a whole lot of fun, you know. And the difficulty, thank God, they toned it down a bit. I can't beat this game like the first one, but I can definitely get quite a bit farther in this. And overall, this game is just really fun, enjoyable experience that if you have a Sega Saturn, you have to have this. And then the big one, Panzer Dragoon Saga. Just show the back there. Of course, the most expensive Sega Saturn game. The price on this just seems to be rising, like, just higher and higher and higher. I got it for $200 a year and a half ago. It was one of the first Saturn games I decided to get. I knew I had to get this immediately before the price got too crazy. Unfortunately, and I'm going to get crucified for this, but this game, I don't know. I like this game. I really do. I think the battle system is incredibly unique. You know, it's got this just really dark atmosphere that I love. I love just dark games. And this game's got, you know, there's a sense of loneliness to this game when you're playing it. There's barely any NPCs to talk to. It's a very linear game. You know, there's not much exploration. There's barely any on-foot exploration. Like, most of this game, you're riding on your dragon, but like, I couldn't really get into the storyline in this game. I found myself confused for most of it. I didn't find myself invested in any of the characters or what was going on. But my big problem with this game is the direction. I find a lot of the times I was just lost. The game didn't give me a good clue of where I was supposed to do or what I was supposed to be doing. Like, they send you in these big kind of open environments on your dragon. You're flying around. And a lot of the objectives are really obtuse. You're not sure what you're supposed to be doing. I don't know, I got pretty frustrated a lot in this game, especially towards the end. But, you know what? Overall, this is still a fun game. I think the battle system is what I think sells this game and what makes it so fun. The unique battle system, you know, your dragon can morph into all these different forms. There's a lot of hidden depth to this game too, but you know, I enjoy this game. I don't think it's quite the masterpiece that people make it out to be, but I kind of regret spending the money on this, but it's a great collector's piece now, and I'll own it, you know, for the rest of my life. Next, we have Ptoto. This came in the lot with my Sega Saturn. It's some kind of, I think it's like a submarine simulation game. Not my type of game. I haven't played this yet. Probably not going to play it, but it's in the collection. Saturn Bomberman, another one of the expensive games for the system. And I can definitely see why. This has got to be the best Bomberman game ever made, and you know, a lot of people will tell you that too. 10-player multiplayer in this game. If you can get, I think, 2 multi-taps and a whole bunch of controllers, a whole bunch of people, you can do 10-player multiplayer in this game, which is, you know, that's pretty cool. Other than that, you know, the single player is really good too. You know, it's just classic Bomberman. You know, there's nothing too crazy with this game, but you know, it had online actually back when it came out for the Saturn, which was, that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, definitely if you own a Saturn, you like Bomberman, definitely get this. Even if it's around, you know, it's around $100 now, I think. But even for that price, I think it's worth it. Sega Rally Championships, not too into racing games, but I did play this for a bit. The controls are really, like, I don't know, the controls in this are pretty bad. Like, you just tap left or right just slightly, or your car just goes crazy out of control. You know, the AI in this game is super aggressive. Like, they're way ahead of you before you know, like 5 seconds after starting the race, they're already way ahead of you. You like already have lost. But I don't know, can't really get into this. But if I liked racing games, maybe I would like this better. But the controls definitely seemed off to me. And even though I don't have too many Saturn games, I can definitely say this one right here is my favorite at the moment. Shining Force 3, another expensive game for the system. It's around $80, I think, but definitely worth it. This is a fantastic game. You know, the Shining Force series is, you know, the first 3, you know, this, number 2, and the original are just classic games, I think. Unfortunately, this is just one part of the Shining Force 3. Like, Shining Force 3 was split up into 3 parts. They were all released in Japan. Only this first part was released in North America. But, you know, this game's still long. You know, just because it's one part doesn't mean it's, you know, super short. Like, this is a good 30-hour game. You know, there's a lot of content here, too. A lot of extra content. But, you know, it's similar to the first 2 Shining Force games. You know, you just, you know, you have your team, you go through missions, you know, between missions you can visit towns, talk to people, recruit. You know, there's not too many characters you can recruit. There's a couple hidden ones. They're fun to actually try to find out how to unlock, but just, I don't know, just a really great, deep game. I much prefer the Shining Force games as opposed to the Fire Emblem games, because, I don't know, the permadeath from those games where if you lose a character, he's gone for good. I don't really like that too much, and this game doesn't have that, so I definitely enjoy this much more. But this was just a blast from start to finish. But if you have a Saturn and you like RPGs, this is a must-own. And Sonic 3D Blast, a crappy port of a crappy Sega Genesis game. True Pinball, this is such a bad game. Like, with pinball games, the one thing you can't screw up, you just can't, or your end product is going to be awful, are the physics. And this game screws them up. Like, Virtua Cop, unfortunately, it's in this crappy, flimsy jewel case. I know you can get a long box version of this game, and I'm definitely going to be getting that soon, but I'll have to make do with this one for now. The game itself, you know, just a really solid light gun game. You know, that's really fun if you have another person over. Basically, you're just shooting up bad guys. That's all you do in this game. You know, fun. Virtua Cop 2, much better than the first one, much better graphics. Just, overall, just a more fun game. Virtua Fighter 2, not too into fighting games, and this seemed really, like, this is a very basic fighting game. Like, there's not much to this game. I know it was really big back in the day, but I don't know, I can't really get into this. And lastly, Virtua On Cyber Troopers. This game seems like it would be really awesome with the arcade stick. I know it definitely, I think it shows on here. In the manual it shows the arcade stick, and I know this game supports it, but I think it would be much more enjoyable with that. With the standard Sega Saturn controller, this game controls really poorly, I think. But it's your standard mech combat game, but I definitely want to get that arcade stick, because I think this game would be just a total blast with it, especially in the 2-player mode. Although I'd probably need 2 arcade sticks. I don't know how expensive those are. They might be pretty pricey. Well, and that's the Sega Saturn collection. Not much, but definitely have some of the classics already. You know, it's nice to have Panzer Dragoon Saga, Burning Rangers, you know, Shining Force 3. In terms of the games I want, Shining the Holy Ark is a big one. I definitely want that. Shining Wisdom I definitely want. Magic Knight Ray Earth. The game I want the most, though, is Guardian Heroes. I gotta have that game. I know it was released on Xbox Live Arcade not too long ago, but I think I'd rather have the original on the Sega Saturn. Oh, and Albert Odyssey, I'd love to have that. But yeah, just a whole bunch of Sega Saturn games that I gotta get still. And thanks for watching. You know, if you have any comments, leave them below. You know, tell me what Sega Saturn games you have, what ones you need, what ones you want. Yeah, see ya.